The fact that you could watch the theatrical cut of Justice League twice in the amount of time that you could watch Zack Snyder's Justice League still blows my mind. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing Zack Snyder's Justice League, obviously a cultural phenomenon. That goes without saying. Hashtag release the Snyder Cut was a thing for years on Twitter leading up to this movie's release, and it's finally here, the definitive director's edition of Justice League. What did I think about it? Determined to ensure Superman's ultimate sacrifice was not in vain, Bruce Wayne aligns forces with Diana Prince with plans to recruit a team of metahumans to protect the world from an approaching threat of catastrophic proportions. So I'm just going to clear the air real quick before I get into this review. I was one of the people who was a Snyder skeptic going into this movie. I think Man of Steel is a good movie with a beautiful score. I think BVS theatrical cut, meh. The Ultimate Edition improves a little bit. I still think it's a good movie. I don't think it's anything spectacular. And then the theatrical cut of Justice League I think is terrible. So going into this, I was like, how much could really change going into this movie? Do I think it's going to be vastly different from that terrible movie that came out in 2017? It's a significant improvement. This is a massive step up from the theatrical cut of Justice League. Go ahead and throw away your Blu-ray if you own it. You don't need to have that ever again. Zack Snyder's Justice League is the only Justice League that I will accept moving forward, and I feel like most people agree with that sentiment. It fleshes out why the villains are doing what they're doing, and why the events surrounding the mother boxes are actually unfolding so well. Already in the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, this first chapter alone is better than the theatrical cut. It fleshes out characters more. You get to actually sit with each individual member of the Justice League and understand where they're coming from, get a little bit of a backstory on them, so that when they finally team up, you actually care about what's going on screen. Darkseid is very cool in this movie. There's a sequence with him that I love. It's actually one of my favorite action moments from the film. And then, of course, all of the nightmare stuff I enjoy. I'm not going to say where it comes up in the movie or how long it's on screen. So in playing the comparison game, I think the character development is significantly better. The action sequences are significantly better, and especially the CGI. They took out that crappy red dome thing that the final battle happened in the theatrical cut. It made it look 10 times better. So the visual effects were enhanced in this movie, and all around it's just more pleasant on the eyes and an easier watch, despite the fact that it is 4 hours. Now I'm going to go ahead and address that. The movie is 4 hours long, so it's the longest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I actually watched it through in one sitting. I took like 2 little breaks to go to the bathroom, no more than 5 minutes in total, but it is 4 hours long, and I would be lying if I said the runtime was not felt. Now, what I mean by that is there are certain chapters, there's 6 chapters in an epilogue, by the way, certain chapters that felt unnecessarily long. Now, I totally understand character development is needed. You have to flesh out these characters, but to me, Chapter 3 is the one that was the weak link. Now, I know that Cyborg is a crucial part of this story, especially the Snyder Cut, and I understand that, but to me, you could have spent 20 minutes less with him. There's just a lot of shots that linger, not only in that chapter, but in general. Like, it seems like Zack Snyder would linger for 10 extra seconds on just an exterior shot of a house, or zooming in, panning in on a window. You could trim down a lot of this and probably get it down to 3 hours and 15 minutes for a lot tighter of a runtime. Now, if you know me, I always complain about the pacing in movies, but I still have to say, the movie opens with a bang and ends with a bang, but there's just certain moments in each chapter that's like, okay, I understand there's so many characters we have to deal with, but I felt like we were kind of hopping around from place to place, and it started to meander at times. I would be lying if I said it wasn't. I mean, anytime you get a 4-hour movie, there's going to be chunks of that movie that meander, even with a 3-hour movie. I mean, just think about The Irishman. The movie was 3.5 hours. There were moments that dragged. It's no different here. I mean, you get a movie that long, it's just inevitable, essentially. I really dug the direction they went with the final chapter of Justice League, just because it was such a significant improvement over the crappy theatrical battle. But I'd be lying if I did not say seeing Superman on screen again was amazing. It was so cool. It was one of the few moments where I had a fist pump. The score gave me chills throughout. I have to give major props to the score because, man, there's a certain scene involving Superman that I think is one of, if not the most iconic shots from the DCEU now. Absolutely loved it. Thinking about it right now is giving me chills. And of course, seeing Batfleck again is cool, but to me, when Superman's not on screen, I'm just a little less interested because I think Superman and Henry Cavill's performance enhance every single scene he's in, and he always lifts up the movie, literally, and just lifts up the team in general, makes them stronger. So I always was like, oh man, I wish Superman would be here. However, it was a very earned moment when he did make his return. In a suit is all I'm going to say, just because we waited for like long time throughout this movie, and then when it finally happens, you're like, all right, it's time. Let's do this thing. Now, I will say, for me, the villain motivations are a little lacking, and that's kind of an issue with every single comic book movie, so I'm not just singling out the Snyder Cut because it's the Snyder Cut, but Steppenwolf is just a puppet for Darkseid, and we didn't really get to see a ton of Darkseid in this movie. I wish we would have gotten to see more, and that's where I'm going to say this movie left me wanting more, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. It wraps up to my satisfaction, but then there's an epilogue, and there's a ton of info dumped in there, and really dope scenes, and I don't know how much of that we will see in the future, just because I don't know if the Snyderverse is going to become a thing. I'm happy to say, as a Snyder skeptic going into this, he won me over. I would love to see this man get a second chance with Warner Brothers, make a Man of Steel 2, make almost a nightmare-type universe film. I would be all in on that. There's a ton of nice little Easter eggs in here for hardcore DC fans, and it was just a very fun time. Now, it did drag at times. I'd be lying if I said it didn't. Honestly, I might recommend watching it in chapters if you think you have a short attention span, or if you don't want to sit down and watch it 4 hours. And just compared to the original cut, it's leaps and bounds better. I don't know what Warner Brothers was thinking with releasing that cut. I know they tried to force it to 2 hours, but if they had just released this originally, DC would be on a completely different track right now. It's a damn shame that we're stuck with what we got. There were just certain moments in this movie that stuck with me. I liked how they would use the F-bomb in certain scenes. It was warranted. I liked the R rating because it lended to itself to some hard R violence at times, really going for the blood and gore aspects, which I think, you know, I would always like to see that in superhero movies. It just enhances the experience, in my opinion. Flash grew on me a little bit. I'm not a huge Flash guy, so going into this, I was skeptic of that, and I enjoyed his character quite a bit. He has a nice relationship with his father, and Cyborg, again, there's a ton of time devoted to Cyborg, which I'm just going to say, in my opinion, I don't love the character as much as I would want to. He's all right to me still. I know that he's crucial to the plot of the movie and succeeding or not succeeding in the overall mission, but I don't really care for his character still. It's a very tragic backstory, but in the end of the day, maybe it's the charisma just not there for me. It's just Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Batman, Superman steal the show for me, and then there's Flash and Cyborg kind of in these supporting roles. That's just the way it is right now, and that's how I feel. But overall, Zack Snyder's Justice League is a good time. It's 4 hours, which again, I don't think is necessary. It's almost a little indulgent in my opinion, just like, oh, I have this cut, I can do whatever I want, let me make it 4 hours, when it's not really truly necessary. The movie left me wanting more, which is both good and bad, because I don't know if we'll see more from it, sadly. I recommend checking out Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's not a perfect movie by any means, I'm going to say that right now. There's flaws, especially in the pacing. I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10. I'm on the fence, and I honestly don't know. You have to go to my Letterboxd to see what I give it out of 5. My Letterboxd is at Filmstock. You can follow me there. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Zack Snyder's Justice League. What did you guys think of the movie? Let me know down below. Definitely hit the like button. I danced around as many spoilers as I could here. But to just sum it up, I think that it's a very long movie, that at times that runtime scene's unwarranted, but overall it is a satisfying experience, especially when the credits roll, you're like, I made it. I've seen a piece of history and the superior version of the Justice League. So that's going to do it for my review. Hope you all enjoyed. Definitely let me know what you think of it down below. Do you think we'll get the Snyderverse back? I want to hear it. I want to have a conversation in the comments down below. But thank you all for watching. Definitely subscribe if you haven't. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.